Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Tumblr, whether it's SoundCloud, whether it's Stitcher Radio, and whether it is iTunes, to the Neu Daye Podcast. Feel the power. Episode 9. Yes, we just did that, right?
Correct.
Yep. We just figured out it's episode 9 of the Neu Daye Podcast. I am one of your hosts. I go by the name of Peter, but I represent the day part of the Neu Daye Podcast.
And I am Nathan, and I represent the new part of the podcast since my last name is Newman. So there you go. That's how we came up with the name. Well,
you represent the nerd part of the podcast, not the new.
Whatever, and you're the dork part. So
I'm the dark part.
No, you're the dork part.
I'm the dark part.
You're a dark dork.
I'm a dark dork.
Yep.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take that for now. Well, we're playing clean right now. I figure I'll get a little. There was a thumb to the eye. You came with a low blow. All right. So man. So you worked on Labor Day, huh?
Correct. I started at 9, got off at 1, so it was a 4-hour shift.
Oh, not bad.
It was really weird, but yeah, I worked on Labor Day. July 4th is my birthday. I worked on that day. But it's holiday pay, so it's more money in my pocket.
Now, this is audio, video stuff you do?
No, this is actually my regular 9-to-5 job.
Okay.
It's a part-time job, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's 9 to 5, and then I do like other freelance stuff on the side that is audio, video, mainly video, but video and audio kind of go hand in hand with each other.
So why the fuck can't we get our podcast in video? Everything, if you noticed, I'm trying to shift everything to video, and we've tried to do like video before and couldn't crack the code.
Yeah.
Is there any way possible that we could set aside some time and figure out again how to do maybe like a record screen, a FaceTime? Because I don't know. It seems like I don't know what the fuck it is about like Google Hangouts and all that shit. But I just cannot figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and Skype has the option of doing a video call, don't they?
It does, but
couldn't we do that?
But here's the thing. I would have to figure out on my iPad how to do that. Like, because I have an iPad now and it's pretty badass. But I'm still trying to figure out how to utilize it to where it takes care of all my podcast needs, like when I'm not in front of my computer.
Okay, because I do everything from my phone. Like, yeah. I don't do anything on my computer.
If I can figure out which app to use without having to jailbreak, because I think the operating system that I have on my iPad now, I think it's like non-jailbreakable. I mean, I don't care. I'm not like someone who has to have it jailbroken. But I think there's a way to record the screen. So as soon as I can figure that out, we'll be able to do that moving forward. Or even like a FaceTime. I don't know, just something, because I definitely want to move everything towards the video aspect of the Peter Talks podcast franchise. So,
all right.
So, I fucking got drunk last night, slept in. I think I woke up to your text around 2:00, and then I started to clean up my apartment. My badly needed cleaning of my apartment. It's a fucking
clean your room.
Well, my room is clean. It's everything else, like my kitchen and my front room that I've just
clean your damn kitchen.
Well, it's 75% clean now. I got to wash the dishes and mop the floor. Okay. Everything else is, all the trash, everything's picked up. And plus I got a little screen printing job that I have to take care of by Wednesday. So check this out. Last week was a very news heavy week in the world of wrestling. We were able to talk about one of the newsworthy things, and I guess I used this moment to follow up on this because I would just listen to the Solid Monster sound off, and he talked about that dude that showed up to the Performance Center and got shot.
Armando Alejandro Moldova, I think his last name. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, close enough. You got it.
But a lot of people thought it was Armando Alejandro Estrada, which to me is hilarious, even though this entire situation isn't.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that people could mix that up, because I don't see how that's possible.
Estrada, who do you mean Estrada?
Armando Alejandro Estrada was a manager for Umaga back in 2006, 2007. And then he later became the general manager of the ECW brand.
Oh, okay. People are idiots. And plus in this 24-hour news cycle, you get so many leads and they're all wrong. I mean, I fell victim to that with the whole Hulk Hogan thing. I thought that the radio interview he did on DJ Who was like the reason why he got fired. It ended up being like this part of the sex tape. So I can understand how people can get information screwed up, get the name screwed up, but nevertheless, they're still idiots. With the 24-hour news cycle, you can't just go on the first source that you see. I mean, that's a cruel reality, but at the same time, those people don't have podcasts. And, people like us definitely have to be a little bit, what's the word? We got to be sharp. We got to be on point.
I don't, because I refuse to read dirt sheets. I'm sorry.
Well, no, not necessarily dirt sheets. I'm just talking about more or less when you just getting facts straight. And if you want to have the conversation, you don't want to end up with the wrong conversation.
True.
And putting it out there for people to consume. And we or other people with other outlets only become more of the problem of misinformation being leaked out and what people are talking about. So this dude, he wasn't killed. He was only shot.
Okay.
And he showed up for Lita. He didn't show up for the other chick at all.
Okay.
He was there.
Yeah, I heard that like a couple days after we did our last show.
Yeah.
So I heard that it was originally reported that he died, and it was originally reported that he showed up for Dana Brooke, but then news came out that he showed up for Lita.
Yeah, man, this guy has a track record with the WWE, too. You spoke on some of the stuff, but it even goes further. Like, there was one time he showed up to Titan Towers for a job. I think he videotaped himself going there.
Well, and his last stunt was trying to... because they said that he was a failed auditionee for Tough Enough, and that's what sparked this whole thing, but this has been going back, from what I know, a lot longer than that.
Way back.
Because, like, according to a couple of the reports that I read that I realize now are wrong, and again, this is why I don't read most dirt sheets, is that they get all their information and then they make up the rest. And because they said that he tried out for Tough Enough, he didn't get in, and then that's when he started doing all this stuff, and but it turns out that it goes back a lot longer than that.
Yeah, he's a classic case. He's a classic case of just an obsessed fan. And
if you go on his Twitter account, it's weird.
Yeah, I could only imagine. So right now, I think he's been shot. He was detained, and I think it's because I think he's going to go to trial or something for that nature, but it's more of a civil thing. It couldn't be criminal because apparently the reasons why that the cops shot him because it was said that he had a knife with him. And when I don't know the interaction between him and the cops, but for them to shoot, apparently he must have come at them at some point. But he was detained. He's going to a civil trial, but it's not like he's going to serve like a bunch of time, right? Or if any time at all. And one of the concerns is, well, being that it's a civil case and all, what's up with when he's done with all the punishment? Now, that's a cause for concern because if he just gets out, I imagine he's even more upset and more obsessed with the Performance Center, not only just Lita or anybody else that he could potentially have a crush on. One of the things with AJ Lee, he's a big AJ Lee fan too. Obsessed.
I can't see why, because she sucks. But
well, I mean, just in general. But we're not talking about the actual performances or anything. We're talking about just someone who's on the television.
Physically.
Yeah, someone who's on the television screen, who performs and has
I don't understand that
millions and millions of fans. No different than, say, Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber. They're just they're an entity that's almost to them godlike. And those people who like idolize people to that extent, they are dangerous. They're sick, but I guess what I'm saying is once he gets out, what then? And how does the Performance Center sort of guard themselves or protect themselves from that guy returning or having something that much more drastic happen? Because, I mean, knowing this guy and the fact that the Performance Center had him fucking shot, I don't think he's too happy of a camper. Do you think that this is going to get uglier, or do you think it's one of those things that's going to get laid to waste?
I'm really not sure, to be exact, but this guy has no right to be mad because he was on property that he wasn't supposed to be on. So by that right, they were able to do whatever they could do. They had the right to do it. Even if some people might disagree with what I'm saying, oh, you never have the right to shoot someone. I don't know why they shot him.
Yeah. I said that.
Well, because apparently what you said earlier, he had a knife.
No, it was said he had a knife. They didn't find
so
a
I
knife.
don't know if he tried to threaten somebody with said knife or what, or if they just shot him out of the blue because they got nervous, which is not an excuse. But either way, if he wouldn't have been on the property, it probably wouldn't have happened because you have to realize that the Performance Center, it's authorized personnel only. You can't go in there if you're a fan.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who visited Florida once parked in their parking lot and took a picture of it and sent it to me just to let me know that he was there. But he never actually went inside because if he did, something would have happened. And because they do not let people in the area or in the building if you're not an authorized personnel.
So, do you think this escalates after he serves whatever time or punishment? I mean, does he get the proper medication? Does he get the proper counseling? Does he, sort of see the error in his ways? And
that's up to a psychologist and a psychiatrist to figure out, because I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to assume that, he's probably nuts. He might be, but it's not my job to sit here and try to psychologize somebody.
No. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. It's not rhetorical, but just, do you think we're going to hear about this later? I guess that's what I'm asking. You think we're going to hear about this later?
You mean like, I don't necessarily think we're going to hear about it later. I think we might hear of other incidents that happen with this guy. But aside from this, I think whatever happens in this case, I think is going to be closed door and we're never going to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say honestly, I think he's. I hope I don't hear anything more about this situation and him. Again, when there's lives at stake, and you got someone who's, one sandwich short of a picnic basket, there is a cause for concern. Apparently, they're going to have a private investigator there now moving forward to make sure he doesn't come back, or when he does, to be, I guess, taken care of. But at the same time, I hope part of whatever he's going to have to go through moving forward until he's let free, I just hope that he gets the mental and psychological treatment that he needs. Again, it's one of those problems, man, that we as a country we have low tolerance for that kind of stuff in terms of we're better off just locking these people up in a room or killing them versus getting them the proper treatment. So I hope that's the case. I guess in other news, I think we hadn't had the opportunity to talk about it yet, but Jimmy Fly Snuka.
Superfly Snuka?
Jimmy Superfly Snuka. That sumbitch finally got indicted. He finally got charged for the murder of his then girlfriend in 1983.
It wasn't his girlfriend.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
it was his miss.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's all. That's all like whatever words. I'm just saying. Mistress, girlfriend, concubine, the person he was fucking. They finally. Apparently, the case was never closed. It wasn't. It was just. It was just a kind of cold. And then listen to the sound off. He mentions that there was an actual article written about this. It was this.
Well, there's a book written about it.
Well, no. Well, there's an article. I'm just saying what made everything come to the surface. Not the book per se, but this 6-page article that no one had ever looked at. And I guess whoever the fuck wrote the article read the Snuka book. I guess he kind of talks on it. And they open it back up, and the folks, the family, everyone was behind just pursuing this case, and they looked back and they saw that so many stories were different, and the involvement of this person and that person, and apparently they did not allow anyone in 1983. They didn't allow people the autopsy. It was a cover up, basically. And Vince McMahon, and this is something I remember hearing about from a previous podcast. I think it was PW Torch. It was like some guy who was kind of freaking out. Like, why aren't y'all talking about this whole Jimmy Fly Snuka shit? It's about to go down. They're about to open the case back up. And I don't know, like, Vince showed up. He was part of the cover up. Now, I don't know if he's going to have to face the music, but I don't see why they wouldn't ask him anything. Apparently he showed up with a briefcase. That was part of getting Jimmy the hell up out of there.
Okay, that's the first I have heard, because I haven't heard of Vince McMahon covering anything up. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, because at the time Jimmy Superfly Snuka was a huge star. Mm-hmm. We're talking he was on the level of like Hulk Hogan and Warrior and those guys back in like the 70s and whatever.
Yeah. So
it wouldn't surprise me if he covered it up, but the people that think that he's going to be prosecuted because of what he may have done, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised. We will see, I think, for the fact that Jimmy mentioned it in his book, that he showed up with a briefcase, so sort of take care of everything, like kind of thing. Depending on who's doing the case, and apparently the person who he showed up to sort of present the briefcase to, he's still part of this case. So if there's invested interest, so to speak, in this case, it's going to have to go through this sergeant or what, you know, this officer or what have you, sheriff that could have. This is all speculation, folks. If you're listening, could have done business in making sure that everything was taken care of. But like you said, the extent of his legal ramifications of this case is no more than questioning. I don't think he'll ever be brought to trial, but still, it's something to keep your eye on, because let's just say he is an intricate part. You know, that's going to be it's going to be pretty messy, say the least.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know too much about it other than what I've read. The thing that really gets me about this whole thing is Jimmy Superfly Snuka wrote an autobiography a while back, and in it he detailed exactly what happened on the night of the incident, and that's what he's being looked at for, is what he wrote in that autobiography. But from what I've been hearing and what I've been reading, he told two separate stories of how it happened, and that's what's getting him in trouble.
Yeah, like apparently he talks about earlier how he like shoved her or something, like how he basically had her hands on her, and then the story turned into them getting out at a rest stop and her slipping and hitting her head.
Well, yeah, what I've heard, okay, the first incident the first story I heard was that they were in a hotel room and he slammed her head up against a stationary object. Mm-hmm. The second story that I heard is that they stopped on the side of a road, and she got out and she had to go to the bathroom, whatever, and then she got out and apparently fell and hit her head on the pavement and then died shortly thereafter.
Yeah, it's definitely a screwy. It's a screwy thing. Now, if he inadvertently like threw her, I mean, you know, you got, because it's third degree, so it's almost like responsible for death, not necessarily a murder. Not like, you know, like first degree. It was almost like, I guess he's being charged for being responsible for her death, not necessarily like going to try to kill her, because they do have a history of domestic abuse. It's like one of the stories about like how the cops tried to get the handcuffs on him. It took like 5 people to put handcuffs on him over a dispute that he had in like his underwear. Oh man. But I guess another thing that's gonna pop up in it's Tamina, the idea of Tamina, and is she gonna get a break to sort of not necessarily like, I mean, anyone who thinks that she's going to get cut or fired for the actions of her father, you're a fucking moron. But I think just for the sheer intensity of the story that's happening, would it be in the WWE's best interest just to sort of slide her off TV for a while, like give her a break?
I think they could definitely do that, and if they. Because, like, what I was thinking, okay, they've got this woman coming up. Her name is Nia Jax. She is Roman Reigns' cousin. And she looks like she could be slotted in as Tamina 2.0, depending on her ability. I mean, Tamina, let's face it, not that good of a wrestler.
Yeah, she stinks, but she's still part of that lineage. And that lineage is a very, what's the word, influential lineage to the WWE. There's much as, I think there's not a deeper lineage in that company than that, you know, High Chief Maivia bloodline. You know, we see it with Tamina, we see it with the Usos, we see it with Roman Reigns, we saw it with The Rock. So even though she's not good, I mean, like you said, I could see her definitely in a valet spot, so to speak, a muscle spot, not necessarily an in-ring performer. I mean, she used to be okay, but like since she hurt her ACL, she's just, you can see her favoring it whenever she's in the ring. And it's like, wait a minute, didn't you go see fucking Maroon? he fucking got your shit trumped tight, but you're still afraid in the ring. And when you're afraid in the ring, you're going to actually hurt somebody. And she has hurt people, since she's been back. So
I saw when I went to Elimination Chamber 2012 live in Milwaukee, and she had a pretty good match with Beth Phoenix that I saw live. But other than that, I really don't remember anything Tamina related.
Yeah.
And it's they're not going to get rid of her, I don't think.
No, they can't.
What they are going to do is they're not, and they haven't been doing it for a while, but when she first came up, they would refer to her as Tamina Snuka. Mm-hmm. Now they just will probably refer to her as Tamina, and they won't mention who her father is anymore.
Yeah, they've actually made movement, and I don't know whether it was the fact that possibly that this case hadn't really closed, but they've like Neville, Biggie, they've been calling her Tamina, but they also mentions her father on a regular basis. It's almost as if they're talking to the casual fan every time that she's on the screen, her father, the great, like shit like that. But yeah, like you said, they're probably going to hush that up real quick because they already, as you would say, Benoit. He's been Benoit, definitely. And what they're trying to do with this case is, because apparently they're trying to say he has head trauma, Alzheimer's, or some shit like this. Apparently he's not coherent enough to stand trial. That's what the lawyers are trying to do. Apparently he showed up in a wheelchair and a breathing mechanism and shit.
Well, he's dying of cancer too.
Yeah, the stomach. Yeah, the stomach cancer stuff. So, but they're not even talking about that. They're just talking about how he's just not coherent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit for some reason.
I don't know why, because I'm
okay. You're back.
Talking like normal.
Okay, you're back. No, it's just a little break. Anything else newsworthy? I think there's one other thing. You have the dude, you have Snuka, and then Hogan on fucking Good Morning America. Did you get to watch that?
When did that happen? Today?
It was last Monday.
I didn't.
Yeah,
But I heard that he's trying to restore his image, and he's not doing a very good job at it. The guy just needs to stop doing interviews, but he's an idiot, and he can't live his life without a camera in front of his face, and that is what his problem is.
I did, for those that are listening, and if you haven't checked it out yet, I think it's from last week. It's actually last Tuesday or so. I do a sort of 30-minute, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a rant, but it's just more or less like just me and how I feel about not necessarily Hogan, but the situation was him on Good Morning America, and how that fucker, he's making himself out to be somewhat of a victim, and that he's looking desperate, and he will not own up. He will not own up to his faults. He won't own up to anything. It's everyone else's fault except him. And I just go like, wait a minute, man. You're the bigot here. He's not claiming owning anything. He's making excuses. And that's what pisses me off the most about this entire thing. And it's like, it's one thing to sort of save face, but when you're looking as desperate as you are, and denying your basic, like, how you feel about a certain other type of people, then yeah, I'm going to look at you as a fucking asshole. I'm going to look at you as a jerk. I'm going to look at you as desperate. And what he's pulling right now in his PR department, what he's doing with his social media stuff, and also like doing these sort of these spots where like even Good Morning America sort of slides away from the fact that the reason why he was being taped, the recording came from a sex tape. They don't even talk about that on the Good Morning America piece. They're like, oh, he was just secretly taped. You know, it's like, fuck off, man. You're a real piece of shit. Not only for what you said, it's just how you're trying to make excuses for it. And if anyone's listening, my video's up, or the SoundCloud is up. It's called Peter Talks Hulk Hogan on Good Morning America. Have you listened to it at all?
No, I haven't got a chance to.
Yeah, it's. I go deep. I mean, I'm not like saying he's the scum of the earth. I'm just saying that he's really showing his true colors, and him not owning up to what has transpired. He's more of a victim. He's playing like more of a victim. Like, I can't own up to any of this responsibility, and it pisses me off.
Not to sound like a dick or anything, but I won't listen to a podcast if there's just one person on it. It doesn't matter who it is.
I see what you're saying.
I can't do it.
Well, it's more like a commentary than it is a podcast. It's just me talking about how I feel as a fan, how I feel as not necessarily an African American male, but. And I say it at the beginning, I'm not speaking for African Americans. I'm speaking as a wrestling fan, and I'm speaking personally. And one of the examples that I brought up was, say, Michael Vick, and why I was upset with what he did with the dogfighting, but I was never upset with him during the process because he never came up with any excuses. He never said, he never pointed fingers, he never did this, he just sat there, he didn't do interviews, he knew what was coming to him, and he sat and took it like a man. And also what Hogan's doing in terms of trying to get into the good graces of the WWE, he is no different than China to me right now.
I think that's a very steep comparison.
Desperation. He can just go away and be forgotten.
At least when he's doing all these desperate ploys for attention, I mean, he means well. I hate to say it, but he does mean well. He's trying to do whatever he can to get back in the good graces of WWE, but he needs to shut his mouth and then just let things kind of take time. Whereas China is so coked up out of her mind that she's just saying all these things and they're not making sense, and all she wants is the Hall of Fame induction. And with her current track record and her career choice, it's not going to happen. No,
not at all. But at the same time,
and it's like, if Sunny was doing what she was doing back, or if she was doing what she was doing now, back when she got inducted, they never would have done it.
Yeah.
And they probably are sick to their stomachs that they even inducted her into the Hall of Fame.
But again, it's the website. They can slide her off. I'd imagine, isn't there a stipend that goes along with a Hall of Fame induction?
I really don't know.
I think there's a little stipend because I think once you're inducted, you're somewhat, and I think we talked about this last week, I'm not sure with you or with Jake, but like you're kind of like an unofficial ambassador at any given moment when they need you for like a public event, whether it's like something overseas or something dealing with like Make-A-Wish or whatever con or what have you. They just be like, hey, what you doing? Take your ass out to Arizona kind of thing. So you're basically on call to be used at whatever the WWE needs you for. So with that, you don't get salary. I mean, but you get like on call stipend. And I don't know if that was one of the things with Hogan, because he was getting so much work with his Hall of Fame stuff. And now that work is gone, and they've just kind of distanced themselves, and they cut the stipend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They cut it, and that's what it really turns into, a money issue. Not necessarily like he's trying to make a public image for himself look better. It's just, he got caught not only fucking someone else's wife, but, you know what I'm saying, the tone that he spoke about Brooke's then boyfriend, it's not him just being mad at a dude, right? It's not like him being like, you know what I'm saying, oh, I said the N-word. No, it's more than that. And that's my whole case. It's like, it's how he feels. It's not about the word itself. You try to pat it down to where it's just about a word, you miss the whole point of why the WWE stepped in or why certain people are upset. It's about how he felt. But yeah, China wants that stipend. Hogan wants his work back. And not to compare the two. I'm not saying the two characters. I'm just saying the desperation of just not going away. Just go the fuck away. Let time heal and things of that nature. Now, I would be more likely to sort of like not necessarily let it go, but kind of be whatever about it. But the fact that he's showing his face and making fucking excuses, he's making me pissed off that much more. I'd be like, yo, if he never gets back into the WWE, I'm fine with that too, because it's like, own up, say, hey man, I am the problem. I am the problem.
This is kind of a sarcastic comment on my part, but if he can't get into the WWE, I'd like to see him go back to TNA and finish them off, because he killed that company. They're the reason why he's the reason why they're in the position that they are, and they're not going to make it halfway through 2016, in my opinion. So if he wants to go anywhere, he should go back to TNA and continue digging the grave that he's already dug for them. Yeah, well, him and Bischoff. Yeah, it's funny because it's like if he really goes back, say to either Dixie Carter or say he fucks with Jeff Jarrett in Global Force Wrestling, he'll never ever sniff the WWE ever again. Not even sniff that shit. That's like just humble yourself, fall back. Just give this shit some legs. Give this shit some breathing room. And then we will secretly sneak you into the back and work on making things better. Because we have a machine that can do that. Right? Yeah. Like on your own, you just got a bunch of cronies, working with fucking sticks and rocks. And you're coming off looking more like a buffoon than you are a sympathetic character. So how about this? We're done with the three serious shits. Let's talk about what was your thoughts on last week's Raw? You don't watch SmackDown, right? I watched it on DVR. Okay, so did you watch last week's SmackDown? Yes, I did. So I guess what I would like to talk about is two things. This whole Sting thing, and do you think he was scripted to sort of put over Triple H? I thought it was so stupid. To play mind game or to play mind games with Seth Rollins, and the storyline between Dolph Ziggler and Summer Rae and what happened on Monday versus how they tied it all together Thursday. I didn't like it, to be honest, because...
What are we talking about first?
The Sting thing?
Okay, go for it.
I didn't like it because Triple H beat Sting at WrestleMania. He beat him with a sledgehammer to the head.
A super kick from Shawn Michaels.
And yes, that. And it just, now he's all of a sudden siding with Triple H for some reason, or sticking up for Triple H. And I don't get the logic behind that. And so there's a huge disconnect between what happened at WrestleMania, what he said on Monday, and now. Jake, and I was, again, listening to Solomon, he brought up the same thing. It's like, well, he's saying maybe he's playing mind games. Maybe he's saying these things to sort of set some sort of animosity between, because we're getting a Triple H Seth Rollins feud at some point. But where does the ball starts to roll? Now, even though all those crazy things happen, it's like, wait a minute, which WrestleMania was I watching, and which WrestleMania did he take part in, right? Yeah. And him saying all these things as a means to was he scripted just to put over, or is the storyline him playing the mind games? Because what's happening, say what happened last Monday, was him going like, whatever, I'm the man, not Triple H. And then Stephanie McMahon stepping in, and there being this sort of dissension between the two of them, and how the conversation of Triple H's, I guess, power or legacy is being questioned by Seth Rollins.
And I go, I don't know. That'd be a far fetched. If this is the route they're going, then kudos to making it, for doing something. But the delivery is all wrong. It's just, my God, Sting, this is not the capacity I wanted you to be in coming to the WWE. Not only getting jobbed out on WrestleMania, now putting over the guy who put a sledgehammer to your fucking face.
Well, and the thing about that is, okay, when Sting did all these interviews about why he didn't come to WWE, the main thing he said was he was afraid about how they would use him. Mm-hmm. And now I'm kind of like, fast forward when he signed last year and debuted at Survivor Series, which is still one of the coolest moments I've ever seen in wrestling. And it was as far as I'm concerned, the last shock debut you'll ever see in professional wrestling.
Yep. I think we talked about that too.
Yeah, I think we did, if memory serves me right. But I don't know. I mean, it was great to see him at WrestleMania in a ring for the first time because it was a very surreal moment. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how we got from there, or from where we are, or from where we were then to where we are now, given that, okay, Sting was afraid of how he was going to be used by WWE, and yet he agreed to doing all this stuff. So I don't understand the logic in that. The only thing I could see is there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and Sting somehow beats Seth Rollins for the title at Night of Champions, and then Sheamus cashes in, but I have my reservations about that, because I think Seth Rollins is going to be the one to break CM Punk's record.
Another thing we spoke about. We spoke about that last week.
So I'm very torn about this whole situation with Sting and where it leads. And like I said last week, or I believe I said it, Sting cannot afford to lose another match. But Seth Rollins, if he's going to beat Sting, he has to win cleanly. And the storyline and everything that I know and everything that's going on and everything that we know going into this match is going to have a total screwy finish. And I'm going to be sitting on my couch and with my head in my hands, with my phone in my hand, tweeting something about, okay, why did that happen? And now Seth Rollins looks more like an idiot than he did before the match. Because right now, his title reign has been a joke. And I will always say that until the day that he gets a credible title win.
I only hope that those are the only things in your hand at that time.
Why would I have anything else in my hand when I'm watching wrestling? You jackass.
Well, that's the point, Jack. I think I look at if we were to go further on say what's going to happen that night, even last week when John Cena showed up, I was like, man, I got suckered into this, didn't I? Because I didn't expect to see Cena. I was like, no Cena, not even a mention of Cena. Okay, we're not going to deal with Cena this week. And sure enough, he shows up at the end. So we're basically getting we're getting a Jay Lethal versus fucking Kyle O'Reilly versus fucking what's his name from War Machine?
No, it's Bobby Fish.
What you guys getting a title shot? I mean, I guess they already played it. Someone hit me last night that said he had a title shot. I saw.
Hanson got a title shot on TV, but you're talking about because they're doing. Oh my god! I just realized my brain just made the connection. Yeah, so Seth Rollins has a double title defense, and Jay Lethal has a double title defense.
Yes,
he's defending the TV title against Bobby Fish, and he's defending the world title against Kyle O'Reilly.
Yes.
I just now put two and two together and realized that, man, WWE sucks.
It's pretty funny, actually.
It's dumb.
You mentioned it last week, and I was like, oh, that's a bit far-fetched, but then, like, look. It's pretty funny, and I just want to look at, you know what? And I think I'm glad they're doing this, honestly. Let's look at how each one handles each situation. Now, who's ever up to the plate first, the person who's the company that's going to follow up is what's how things are going to turn out. Like if ROH goes first, keep your eye on how the WWE handles this.
Well, and ROH is always the one that goes first, and then WWE follows suit. You know how, okay, the thing that started this whole thing was, you notice on WWE TV they're doing a lot more spots involving the ring apron.
Oh yeah,
and
we talked about this.
That was a quiet shot at Ring of Honor.
And the super kicks too.
Huh?
And a massive increase in super kicks.
Yeah, that too. But like it's kind of funny and counterproductive to what WWE is doing, because they're promoting safety. They want guys to be safe in the ring, yet they want people to get slammed on the hardest part of the ring, which is completely counterproductive to what you're doing, because we can't forget, BJ Whitmer almost died. Could have been killed from taking a pile driver on a ring apron.
I think the most dangerous thing that the WWE allows is when Big E does that fucking tackle spot off of the apron through the ropes. That is, to me, the most dangerous thing.
You mean off the rope?
No.
Oh, yeah.
When whoever's standing
on the ropes?
Yeah, the spear through the ropes is like this fucking... I go, how do they allow this? Like, he could snap his shit so bad. If that move is, if he just goes maybe just a little too fast or just a little under speed, he could snap his shit right on up. And I wish they would just get, even though it's a big spot, it's probably like every time it happens, it's like the oh shit spot of the night. And Big E's not no small dude. He's not like, Sami Zayn doing a spot like that. He's like a big motherfucker doing that. It's like, goddamn, not only can he snap his shit up, he can fucking snap whoever's taking that tackle. So, I mean, safety, I just go like, man, like, from the spots you've been allowing to happen as of late, it doesn't necessarily reflect that, WWE. Don't try this at home. Please don't try this shit at home. Hell, don't try that shit on the WWE roster, for that matter. So yeah, I guess to say we are going to see how this plays out with Sting, and because I know how ROH is going to do this. They're going to do it really well. I see him probably losing to Bobby Fish, but I don't see him losing to Kyle O'Reilly because he still hasn't had that belt long enough. And I think
I think they need to. They're realizing now that they need to get the TV title off of him as soon as possible.
Yeah, because of the WWE shit.
And he's had it, no, not because of that, because he's not going to be able to defend the title or both titles consecutively on the same show forever.
Yes.
And he has had the TV title since April 4th, 2014.
Wow.
So that's a long freaking time.
Yeah.
By today's standards. And he'll have the world title even longer.
So they'll probably do that right. I mean, you just can't take it off of him quite yet. I think he's a really good champion. Whenever he shows up, I get excited. Like I think he's a good champion. As for, say, what happens with the WWE, now it's Night of Champions. It's not one of their big grossing, pay-per-view main event things. It was one point where they actually got rid of it. I think they got rid of it for like a night or like a year or two. So it doesn't really hold.
No, they didn't.
I thought they got rid of it, or they were talking about getting rid of it.
It was one of the ones that they were thinking about scrapping, but they never did it.
Okay. So what I'm saying
Night
is
of Champions has been a thing since, I believe, 2007, and the concept was lifted from WCW.
Okay. So it's not one of their herald events. It's just not. And I think...
Well, and it never has been.
Yeah. So it allows it, let's just say take SummerSlam and all the screwy finishes that happened at SummerSlam. That could have happened at Night of Champions. Because it's like, well, it's a tweener of a event, pay-per-view, that doesn't really says that all these things have to have these definite endings. You get a screwy finish here, screwy finish there, maybe an undercard victory, but for the most part, nothing changes hands per se, right? And again, to back up what we were saying earlier about Seth Rollins holding on to that belt for a while, It's not that Sting could ever get a clean victory over Seth Rollins. I just don't see that happening. I see either Kane showing up. I see some sort of interference where he doesn't look like a buffoon, and then he doesn't also look very weak, getting his second pin in a row. I mean, I just don't see Seth going over 1, 2, 3 over Sting. John Cena, on the other hand, I see a great chance that he could possibly take the belt off of him, take that U.S. belt off of him, depending on the direction that ROH goes in. Now, if Bobby Fish takes that TV title off of Jay Lethal, then yes, Cena is going to get his belt back, but it's not going to be clean. I feel there's going to be interference from somewhere, maybe Triple H, maybe Stephanie McMahon, maybe whoever. I just see both of those matches ending screwy, but Seth still retains the World Heavyweight Championship, and Sting gets his U.S. belt back. I don't see a cash-in. I don't at all.
Sting gets his U.S. title back? He's not even in that match.
Who?
You said Sting gets the U.S. title?
No, I said Cena. I see Cena. Cena gets his...
You said Sting, but you...
My bad, and
Cena.
I meant Cena. I see Cena getting his U.S. title back, and I see Sting not winning. Not necessarily losing, but not winning the belt.
Okay, I see it. Okay, that could happen, or you could have John Cena, or you could have Seth Rollins beat John Cena and then have him lose to Sting.
Oh, no.
But I see the way that you're saying it, I see that happening a lot more, or there's a better chance of what you're saying is going to happen, happening versus what I just said may happen.
Yeah.
But my question is, okay, if John Cena wins the U.S. title, where do we go from there, and do we get the U.S. Open Challenge back, and how does that whole thing play out?
I think the U.S. Open Challenge has served its purpose. He doesn't necessarily have to go into that. I see that belt getting lifted off of him very soon once he gets it. I don't see too many title defenses of it, because I think more than him having to do the U.S. Open Challenge, I see a storyline being implemented somehow, some way, with someone else. And it's going to prevent him from actually doing a U.S. Open Challenge. I think that's come and gone. It was a hot thing. There's not even anyone else in line to be able to give a... I feel what I'm saying, they've exhausted it to a certain extent. Like, who else could show up and do something and we'll be, like, super excited to see? And also, do you... Cena at that capacity, is that going to do him any more favors than is already done?
No, I don't think it will. And like this, him having the U.S. title was only to get him out of the WWE title picture. And now that he lost the U.S. title, so I think he's going to be in the WWE title picture again, even though we probably don't want him to be.
Yeah.
And he is going to get that 16th world title reign. And he will get the 17th world title reign, and then he will break the record for the most world title reigns. It's not a matter of when it's going to happen, or it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen.
And also, go ahead. Sorry about that.
I'm just more interested to see where Seth Rollins' title reign goes. Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, if he is going to break CM Punk's record, because he is a guy that I could see them. He's the perfect guy to do it with.
You know what? I have an idea that I wouldn't be surprised that we see an injury angle at some point with Cena, like to the extent of really putting him to the side, not having him wrestle for that, have him basically defend that belt, or even have it in abeyance to a certain degree. Because look at it like this. You look at the likes of someone like a Sami Zayn, Hideo Itami. He's hurt too, but when Sami Zayn came up, when he was fighting Neville, the Kevin Owens thing, again, it's not like, well, right now is like, well, which NXT star? Because it's not going to be someone on the main roster that would face. It would be like, hey, here's some surprise guy. Finn Balor's not coming up anytime soon. And that would have been the only person I see that would have come up for the U.S. title, open challenge, and people just go fucking bananas over. But the discussion I had with Jake last week, and this is what I feel, not only is Cena not going to defend that belt or have an injury angle to where he's going to have to go away for a while or keep him from defending the belt, and all these things with, say, what happened with Cesaro and him losing clean, the feud with the Wyatts and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns has extended so much. The way that they're handling Sasha Banks is because it's all filler. We all know what this is all about. This is about WrestleMania. WrestleMania 32. Other than the fucking over-the-top Andre the Giant Battle Royal, the capacity of any and all these storylines that's going on now, from Dolph Ziggler to again, Wyatt's versus the Ild, John Cena to a certain extent, Cesaro, so on and so forth. Those people will not be on a match at WrestleMania. It's going to be, Rock, Brock, Batista, Undertaker, Stone Cold.
Batista's not wrestling.
We'll
Neither
see.
is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
We'll see. I'm just saying. But you see what I'm going, right? I just think they're going to overpack it with so many stars and so many old things to get a pop for that one night that it renders today's roster to like
completely useless.
Yes. And the only people that I see right now possibly on this roster, Seth maybe, Cena maybe, Brock maybe. I mean, not Brock maybe, Brock definitely, but like, will Kevin Owens? No. Cesaro? No. New Day? No. There's a better chance of the fucking Dudley Boys making a spot on WrestleMania facing the Usos than anybody else on the main roster.
I wouldn't say that because WrestleMania is still 7 months away.
I know. That gives them more time to get all of these big fucking stars. And then you got to get your fucking superstar, actor, actress, or whatever. Get your Ronda Rousey on that motherfucker. It's just, there's a lot of time. And I just see that whatever storyline's happening right now in the WWE is just filler until WrestleMania comes around, and we will see. We will see what all of this shit is all about. And it's all about that pop to get 100,000 people in that stadium. And you can't do it with this roster. You just can't.
Well, they're going to have to fill it with some nostalgia, but I don't think they need to fill it that much. I mean, you bring back Austin, you bring back The Rock. Hulk Hogan's probably a no-go.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a no-go.
Who else? I can't really think of anybody that they could bring back.
Oh, Batista.
But no, he's not going to come back.
Hey,
he's done.
Hey, I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying. Let's look at the big top card, like the top players that could possibly be there: Rock, Brock, Triple H, Sting, Stone Cold, Undertaker. Stephanie McMahon and Ronda Rousey.
Okay, you've only named 2 people right now that aren't on the current roster.
Yep.
So keep going.
That's it. I'm just saying. Once you look at that's 7 people. That's 7. You add one more.
Yeah, but 5 of which are on the current roster. There's only 2 guys. There's only 2 guys that you mentioned that aren't on the current roster.
And then the other guys are doing part-time.
Correct.
Right? They're not like week to week.
Correct.
Okay? So let's just say that is your card. Like, mix and match whatever the fuck that is. How much time does that really allow anything else?
Not very much. I'd say an hour tops. maybe an hour and a half.
Again, and then again, we got to have a performance by either Machine Gun Kelly or like Flo Rida or P Diddy.
Can we not do that?
They got to have it, dude. Actually, they'll probably do a whole 15-minute sort of mini concert with all of those people combined.
You know what I just thought of, and this scares the crap out of me? It wouldn't surprise me. Okay, last year for WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania was 4 hours, and then they had the 2-hour pre-show. It wouldn't surprise me if next year that WrestleMania 32 is going to be a 6-hour legitimate show, and then you're going to have a 2-hour pre-show. So that would be 8 effing hours of wrestling.
They're not going 6 hour. You're insane. 6 hour? No way. No way. No
WrestleMania
way.
5 back in 1989 was 7 hours long.
No way. There's no way. There's no way.
So they've done it before.
There's no way you can have somebody sit in a room for 6 hours. No way at fuck.
Well, back then you could, but not today.
I know. I'm saying today. The attention span.
Yeah, but like back then wrestling wasn't so overexposed like it is now. But like WrestleMania 5 being 7 hours, it wasn't a big deal. But like WrestleMania 4 being as long as it wasn't a big deal, because you have to remember WrestleMania 4 back when VHS tapes were still around.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 4 was the first ever show to be so long that they had to do a double VHS cassette set. And WrestleMania 5 was even longer, but it's like back then wrestling wasn't as overexposed as it is now. Whereas now it's like you've got WWE, you've got the WWE network that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You've got Ring of Honor that's got their on-demand service. You've got TNA doing whatever the hell they're doing. You've got Global Force Wrestling doing whatever the hell they're doing in a corner of the universe. You've got Shikara, who's got their own VODs.
But also,
every company has their own video on demand service.
But also, WWE just constantly break kayfabe on a regular basis. Where back in those days, you were invested in those stories and those characters because you never saw anything different. You didn't see them on fucking Instagram taking. You didn't see fucking. You didn't have like say Hulk Hogan taking photos with the Iron Sheik at a beach having a fucking Kahlua, like you just didn't see that. You didn't see like who's someone who you didn't see Roddy Piper, taking pictures with a Make-A-Wish kid, and
not back then, no.
And then you didn't have like a show that showed you how to wrestle, as the people on the roster were like themselves showing people how to wrestle. So that in itself, it's like, well, the kayfabe factor is a big issue with how I don't think the attention span, 6 hours. It's one thing to book Brooklyn, right? And to have 3 separate sold out shows, right? But it's another thing to have all those shows at once and one night.
Well, and like, okay, the big kicker is, at least for me, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, SummerSlam, they had TakeOver on Saturday night, then they had SummerSlam on Sunday. But I think they're going to have, come WrestleMania, they're going to have TakeOver. They're going to do, because they made the mistake last year of not showing that San Jose show on the network. Mm-hmm. Which I think was a huge mistake, because I heard that show was so good, and I still want to see it in some way, some form, even though it's probably never going to surface. But they always do the Hall of Fame on Saturday night. They always do WrestleMania on Sunday night. I think they could put a TakeOver special on the network on Friday night.
Not at Jerry's World. Hell no. Hell no. You nuts? Are you insane?
I'm not saying it has to be at the same venue.
Yeah, it would be in the Mavericks. It would either
they could do it somewhere else.
They would either have it in like the Mavericks Dome, or they would go to San Antonio. And it makes more sense to go to San Antonio than it is to stay in Dallas for that takeover.
Yeah. Well, they would probably go somewhere somewhere in Texas, but it wouldn't be the venue that WrestleMania would be in. It would have to be a smaller venue. If there's something adjacent to that building or nearby, then they'd probably do that.
I just thought of something. Shawn fucking Michaels.
What about him?
He would be at some capacity at that fucking WrestleMania.
Yeah, but it depends what they're going to use him as, because he's not going to be a wrestler.
Was it you? What were you watching the same WrestleMania that I watched when he fucking super kicked Sting right in the fucking face?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Why?
Oh man, that's unfinished business right there.
They're not going to do. If they wanted to do Sting, Shawn Michaels, they would have done it instead of Sting Triple H.
Now check
because that's the match that everybody wanted to see in the Attitude Era.
Now check this shit out, right? Because if anything, I was watching this one guy. He was talking about, oh my god, when I saw, that's like he said when he saw that super kick, that was like Superman meets like who he compared it to? He was like Superman meets Spawn. He was like two worlds that just you never saw collide, right? And it happened that night on Breaking Kayfabe. Both Sting and Shawn Michaels are great friends in the whole Christian thing. Like,
yeah.
And they actually perform. They do this sort of wrestling meets religion tour from time to time. I think they even have a video out of wrestling meets religion. And it's like Sting and it's a couple of guys, but definitely Sting and Shawn Michaels. I think Shawn Michaels plays like the person who's like lost his way, and Sting comes along as like this person, and then they're like in the ring together. So they have coexisted. Breaking kayfabe to do this sort of religious stuff. They're both. I think they're, if anything, probably attend the same church and all that kind of shit, and probably good friends. So.
I think you're looking at a Sting Undertaker match over a Sting Shawn Michaels match. I don't think Shawn Michaels will ever set foot in a wrestling ring again.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. It's funny. It dawned on me because I was saying like San Antonio and the WWE has history. They have a lot of history, and it's funny too because I just got myself the network, and I went and watched.
Finally.
Yeah, I know. Finally. And I watched. That I somehow came across that WrestleMania, that Royal Rumble that actually happened in San Antonio. And
which one was that?
It was the one where he faced Psycho Sid. Was the main event for the
97?
Yes, 97. Steve Austin won. He got thrown out. But the refs didn't see it.
Yeah, 97, because then they set up the February In Your House, which was the Final Four, and that match is really dumb. But that's a whole another story for another time.
But I'm just saying in general, and plus San Antonio is a really good babyface town. I don't know what it is. It's just pro babyface. It's probably one of the most pro babyfaces towns I've ever seen.
By the way, a funny story, that in order to sell that venue and sell it out completely, they had to sell a crap load of comp seats.
Yeah. To
fill that venue.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
I just think it's funny because it was 67. It's like a 67,000 seat arena, and there was like 67 or 65,000 paid and like 2,000 comps.
Okay.
That were in that building.
NXT is going to be pretty tough to takeover. Is going to be pretty tough to book in Texas. And you do not want that shit anywhere near Jerry Jones. And to a certain capacity, I wish they would fall back a little bit on the whole NXT brand and all this stuff that they're doing. I understand like the touring aspect, but I feel like Brooklyn was too much too soon. Expectations are too high now, and I could see a level of them trying to compare themselves with the main roster, and I go like, hey, pump your brakes, man, take it to 11. You're still developmental. And I don't know. And Brooklyn's an outlier of a type of place, too. So so the bar's been set higher in terms of crowd consumption and participation. Anywhere else is just not going to be the same as Brooklyn. So I feel like they're setting themselves up for disaster moving forward because, but Brooklyn wasn't like this. Like, hey, you should have never booked it in the first place. I know you're excited, but just fall back. But I guess the point I was making is this fucking WrestleMania is doomed. Is doomed to any and everyone you love on the main roster right now is just going to be rendered to the over the top battle royal, and quickly. And then we're part ways because I just got a thing saying that not a thing but a tweet. You probably got the same tweet that Paige and Sasha Banks will be fighting tonight on Raw.
Who tweeted that out?
The WWE was breaking.
I don't see that.
It's right here. Breaking. Team PCB Real Paige WWE will face Sasha Banks on Raw tonight. And that's from the WWE account.
Yeah, I don't see that anywhere on my timeline. How long ago did they tweet it out?
Right at the beginning of our post, our recording.
Oh. Then that's why.
Where is it? Well, anyway, yeah, I just read it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Sting was not supposed to show up this week.
But he's going to be there.
Yes, and there's also the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast with Edge and Christian.
Yep, and I really don't care about that. But
I do.
Watch it anyway.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it live. I'll probably watch it tomorrow at some capacity and then do like a review on it.
I'll probably watch it tomorrow, and then because I got plans after I get home from work for the network when I get home.
Plans? You got no fucking plans.
No, I'm gonna watch No Mercy 2007.
Oh, look at you. Oh, so check it out, and we'll make this concise, and get the hell up out of here. But the storyline with not Rusev, but Summer Rae and Dolph Ziggler. Monday, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? But Thursday was compelling. I wonder what happened between Monday and that clusterfuck of a storyline that looked like it did no one any favors. And then you take the Miz TV segment Thursday, that was pretty fucking compelling.
I thought it was garbage. And Lana is injured now, and the storyline is going to be scrapped.
You know what's funny? Because I'm kind of just moving along, looking for that because the tweet that I had kind of like went away and went back to the stream, and I'm looking at ringrap.com, and it says you bring that up, and I just saw that WWE Diva Lana injured at weekend live event may require surgery.
Yep.
Damn.
So I tweeted this earlier. I hate to see Lana injured because it really sucks, but it's almost a blessing in disguise because I do not want to see this match.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because, like I said, I will never, no matter how much I do not like somebody, and it's not that I don't like Lana, because I do. I like her very much. But it's like, I will never wish injury upon somebody, even if I hate their guts. But I'm almost happy this happened because it's a blessing in disguise, because now we don't have to suffer through this match, because we all knew where this was going, and it was awkward as hell, and now I'm just glad I don't have to see it.
Well, it got compelling. I would say this on my side.
I thought that Miz TV segment was absolute garbage.
I thought it was pretty good. And it's more or less like, okay, regardless of how anyone feels, we were getting this storyline. And it was going to be the two ways. You could either tune out or tune in. And it's as depending on, I tuned out of it on that Monday. But Thursday, I thought it was great because you know what? They actually shockingly said something happened in the past. You know? Like they showed something from the past. It's like, what? What happened? Hell, what the fuck even happened last week? Sometimes they don't even give a fucking care. But they went back 2 years ago and pulled up an old clip. And I was like impressed by that. And then it gave more, I guess, more substance to the storyline itself, that maybe, just maybe, Dolph, he's a little dog, you know, in the background. It's one thing to present him as this lovey-dovey sort of kissy face boyfriend thing that I absolutely hate. But what if it is all a ruse? What if this alignment with Lana has been no more than him being as crappy as Rusev? So what we're looking at is a possible double turn.
Well, and I said that all along, and it's not a double turn; it would be a false turn.
False turn.
You're talking Lana, turning back and going with Rusev.
Because
that's not a double turn. A double turn is when you've got two guys. It's like a double turn is what happened at WrestleMania 13.
Okay, I get it.
Austin and Brett.
I know.
One turns face, the other one turns heel. But what you're talking about is more of a false turn where you think that they turn face or heel, but in this case it's face. So she turns face, and then boom, she's heel again a couple months later. That's what a false turn would be.
Well, I see to a certain degree both Lana and Rusev getting back together and being a face and being faces. I think that would be fun. I think the way that Rusev's been positioned as a well, not necessarily a storyline because he comes off as a complete jerk, but he's been put in situations where the odds are against him. Not necessarily. Yeah, it's more like the odds are just so against him at every fucking turn. It's one thing to get your comeuppance, but it's almost as if like the baby faces just team up on him and just, I feel like, damn, it's Rusev, man. Like, you guys are jerks. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him at least get some like retribution. Let him get away or something. Nope. Here's a 4-on-1. Oops. Here's this garbage. Here's his ex-girlfriend making kissy face with some dude. Like it's just, I feel sorry for the guy more than I hate him. So
I don't think you're ever going to see him as a face.
We will soon. I guarantee it.
I disagree.
I guarantee it. So let's go ahead and wrap this fucker up. Plugs.
I am Nathan. You can follow me on Twitter at Headliner5. Visit eyesonthering.com. Check out my latest article, which is a review of Ring of Honor Wrestling from this last week. It was the Championship Edition, where both the tag team titles and the world titles were on the line. Really good show, solid 60 minutes, best 60 minutes of wrestling you're going to see. Probably all week, so go watch it if you get the chance. Also, Spreadshirt, or I think it's spreadshirt.com/DARTs. Pick up a Eyes on the Ring shirt. Follow Eyes on the Ring at Eyes on the Ring. I will be live tweeting Raw tonight there and my account because I do double duty on Monday nights. And then you can go to facebook.com/Eyes on the Ring and make sure to like us there. And the Eyes on the Ring podcast comes to you live every Sunday via Blog Talk Radio at 10 p.m. Or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes it's 11:30 if there's a pay-per-view. But there is not one this Sunday, so it'll be 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to get guests. The guy who is the founder of Eyes on the Ring doesn't want guests, so if I want them, I need to get them, so that's what I'm trying to do. So hopefully I will have more information as far as that concern goes within the coming weeks.
Okay, and I hope, my fucking thing's acting screwy right now, but nevertheless, if it isn't screwy, go ahead and check all that shit out. Again, his Twitter account is Headliner5, not spelled out 5, but the number 5. And thank you for listening to, what is this, episode 9?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. Last week there was a bit of a spike in the listeners, so I appreciate those who are tuning in and checking out what we're doing over here with the Neu Daye Podcast, and just not necessarily focusing on, say, what's happening in the ring, but we're also talking about things outside the ring. So if that's something that you like, I appreciate you guys tuning in to hear just us give our opinion and have conversation about it. Peter and Jake talks wrestling. Peter talks SmackDown. Peter's Raw recap. And I'm looking for another person to do Peter Talks Wrestling with. But those things come Monday after every Raw, Peter's Raw recap. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, which is a full review and discussion now on video between me and Jake. Peter Talks SmackDown is every Friday. That goes up every Friday. And when I find someone who can do Peter Talks Wrestling with, that will be a Saturday podcast. Be sure to follow me at PJTW Central. I don't even do the PJTWCentral.com thing anymore. I'm so slack on that. But what I have been doing is posting through that account, through PJTW Central, the uploads to SoundCloud, to iTunes, through Stitcher, Tumblr, and YouTube. So if you're interested in those things, go ahead and check that out. And plus, something else I wanted to mention. What the fuck else did I want to mention? Yes. Do us a favor and subscribe, whichever way it means you're listening to this. Be sure to give a thumbs up or 5 stars. That helps in the ratings when people are looking for wrestling talk and conversation through whatever means. And also comment. Comment. Do whatever. Share. Sharing, definitely. Sharing is caring. Not only my stuff, but what he's also doing with Eyes on the Ring. So our fanship and our success definitely lies in your hands, our fate, and our advancement. You know, we want to leave Full Sail 2 and go to Brooklyn ourselves and get like more people to check out our products. So, you got any last words?
Nope. Just looking forward to Raw and looking forward to returning next week with a brand new show. And that's really all I have to say for this week.
And yes, and again, that's episode 9 of the Peter. Damn, I just did it. Of the Neu Daye Podcast.
Jerk.
And do yourself a favor and watch out for those foreign objects. They'll get you. Peace.
Peace.